So good morning, everyone. This assembly is going out to the whole school. So the first thing I'm going to do is introduce myself. For those of you in primary, I'm Mrs Bellman and I'm Assistant Head Pastoral in the senior school. And I'm coming live from my living room today. And the reason for that is that I've been feeling like I'm missing out on the Bring Your Pet to Form Time sessions that the senior school have been hosting. So I thought I'd show you and introduce you to my daughter's fish, which is the closest we've got to pets in our house. And this is Ben and this is Holly. And I thought you'd like to see them swimming around behind me while I'm talking to you today. So I'm here to talk to you. Oh, I need my prop. I wouldn't be a true drama teacher if I didn't have a prop for my assembly. So excuse me a moment while I reach down to get it. My first question to you is, what is this? I hope you're all shouting at the screen right now. Indeed, it's a glass of water. My daughter's been learning about capacity in maths at school, and they have been taught how to describe this glass of water in a bit more detail. So I'm sure you're shouting at your screens again. How would we describe this glass? Absolutely. I'm sure you all got that right. That's brilliant. I am reliably informed that this glass could be described either as half full or half empty, and both would be absolutely correct in the world of maths. And apologies to Mr. Dodson, I didn't measure it out. Hopefully you can see it's roughly half full or half empty. In terms of the assembly I'm delivering today, which is about perspective, I definitely want to think about this glass as half full. My second prop. Julia Donaldson's A Squash and a Squeeze. I'm not going to read you the whole story. There isn't time, unfortunately, but it's a really good one. I really recommend it. And it's all about perspective. The little old lady lives all by herself, but yet she feels her house is too small for her. So she asks for some help, and she asks a wise old man to help her with her very small, cramped little house. And what he does, weirdly, is he suggests that she should take in her cow, take in her goat, take in her hen, her pig, and take them all into her house with her, even though she already feels the house is really cramped. Then he says, take them all out. And she takes them all out, and all of a sudden, she's really happy. And she says, thank you, old man, for the work you have done. It was weeny for 5. It's gigantic for 1. There's no need to grumble. There's no need to grouse. There's plenty of room in my house. And now she's full of frolics and fiddle-de-dees. It isn't a squash and it isn't a squeeze. Yes, she's full of frolics and fiddle-de-dees. It isn't a squash or a squeeze. So by the end of the book, the house hasn't changed at all. It's her perspective that's changed. She's suddenly got loads of room and she's really happy with it. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about perspective and positivity in the difficult circumstances that we are all living in. And we're all experiencing this third lockdown in different ways, and it's all affecting us differently. Some of you are absolutely thriving and loving it, loving working from home, loving working from school if you're in school, loving the time to exercise. I know a lot of you are taking part in the Derby High Sport challenges, and you're really enjoying it. Some of you aren't enjoying it so much, and that's okay. It's different, it's new, and we're all finding our way. The reality is probably a lot of us are somewhere in the middle and really enjoying bits of it and not enjoying other bits so much. And again, that's perfectly normal and perfectly understandable. But I want to talk to you a little bit today about how changing our perspective and thinking really positively can actually change how we experience the lockdown and life at the moment. And the first thing I want to talk to you about, linked to Squash and a Squeeze, by the end of the book, the little old lady's really grateful to the old man and really grateful for her house. It's all she needs. She's got everything she needs. And And one thing that's been really popular during these lockdowns is gratitude diaries, or thankfulness diaries, where every morning you take just a couple of moments to think about the things you're grateful for, the things that you are thankful for. Or the other way around, you do it at the end of the day and you find the positives at the end of the day. There's a saying that goes, not all days are positive, but there are positives within every day. And just by forcing yourself to write it down, it makes you acknowledge those positives, and therefore makes you realise that actually perhaps that day hasn't been as bad as you may have thought it was. So that's something I'd really like to suggest. I know Mrs Goodman does this a lot, so and I'm sure she'd be really happy to chat to you about it if you're interested in finding out more. But you don't need a special diary, you don't need a special book, you don't need a special pro forma. You just do what you want to do, however you want to do it, as long as you're thinking about what has or what is really good in life. And it just sets you up to think positively. The second thing I want to talk to you about today are little wins. And the reason for this is that we are now in our third lockdown. In our first lockdown, I don't know about you, I was going to write my first novel. I was going to, develop the best invention since sliced bread. There were all these massive achievements I was going to get under my belt. Funnily enough, none of them happened. And now we're all in the third lockdown. It's a little bit more mundane. Although it's different, it's still not normal life, but we are more familiar with the way lockdowns work now. And therefore it can get a bit tiresome. So one thing I want to talk to you about is little wins. Setting yourself up either for targets of things to achieve or doing something really nice for yourself that is a little win. So the first one, the idea of setting a target, I'm going to give you a personal example. Usually on a day-to-day basis, I would try and do 12,000 steps. Got my Fitbit, and I really like counting my steps on my Fitbit. In lockdown, that's just impossible. And the first few days, I was really, really disappointed in myself that I was getting nowhere near. Teaching from behind a screen does not make 12,000 steps in a day. And actually what I've done is I've modified my expectations so that actually now my target is 8,000. And if I get to that, I'm really pleased. And if I get to 10,000, I'm over the moon. So I've just readjusted my outlook a little bit. And it means that rather than being really disappointed at the end of the day, I can actually still give myself that little bit of positivity, that little bit of motivation to do the same the next day, rather than feeling like I've failed. And that's really important. Your little wins could be anything. It could be concentrating through a whole lesson. It could be completing a piece of work that you've been perhaps not looking forward to doing. It could be, going for a 10-minute walk. If you haven't had any activity, doing a 10-minute walk can really just make you feel so much better. The other type of little win I want to talk to you about are just those little things you can do that make yourself feel good, that make yourself feel better, that make yourself feel like you. We can't go to the cinema or go for a drink, like coffee at the shopping centre, or go for lunch, or go to the spa, or go for a swim, or any of those things that we used to do. That involve places that are closed at the moment. So we need to look for other little things that we can do to make ourselves feel good about ourselves. Now, for me, I know that being able to grab 20 minutes with my book is a real little win for me. It makes me feel good. It calms me down. It makes me feel like I've done a little something for me. It could be having a cup of tea in peace. It could be having a nap. It could be taking a bath. There are loads of things you could do. Go for a run, take part in one of the challenges, any of those little wins that you could do that just make yourself feel like you. You guys do things that are a lot more exciting than I do, so I'm sure you can come up with much better little wins than me. And if we can start thinking about being grateful, being thankful, and finding those little wins for ourselves, hopefully we can just find the positivity in lockdown, and it will help us get through it as we hopefully move towards, normality returning at some point this year. And here's what I'd like you to do. Not only do I want you to do those things, I want you to show us if you can. So if you could take a photo of your little win, whether that's a sweaty selfie out on your run or a cup of your steaming hot tea that you're getting to drink, on the sofa, whatever it might be, we'd really like to see a photo of your little win with a little description of what you're doing. And if you could send it to Mrs Cotton, so that's RCOTTON at the Derby High email address. And if you can title it #LittleWins. And we're really hoping to fill the social media newsfeed with lots and lots of positive things that you're doing in lockdown that are making you feel good about yourselves. Because actually your little win might motivate other people to go out and get their little win. It might give them an idea of what to do. It might make them think, oh, I haven't done anything today. So make sure that you're sharing those, and we'll try and get some of those up on social media so that we can share them and flood social media with lots of #LittleWins. Just to summarise then, there's going to be a couple of slides coming up about what I've been talking to you about today, summarising ways that we can look after ourselves during lockdown and ways that we can try and stay positive. I hope you have a lovely day. See you all soon. Bye for now.